Got the juice, can you hear me now? We on the move, making moves, it's 5G all around. Look me up and down, ain't no frown, cause I combat it, Just play my sound, now you found a piece of heaven. Welcome you to Money Town, where I rule the world, I rule the world, I rule the world, I rule the world. Welcome you to Money Town, where I rule the world, I rule the world, I rule the world, I rule the world. Hold up, wait.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. We are gonna jump into the new year the proper way, and that is with a Q&A session for today's Get Ready With Me. I'm of course starting with my lip mask. I told y'all, I wear it all day. And then skincare. We don't have any wine today because we're being children of the Lord. Children of the Lord. No, I'm not. No blasphemy. We're just going to be dry today. That is all. You can have dry days and you can have wet days. Get your mind out of the gutter. First question for our Q&A session is, have you ever dealt with stage fright? Now, I've definitely dealt with stage fright. It was mostly when I started out. When I was younger, I would shake and quiver. It was often hard for the audience to tell, but because I knew it was like a mind over matter kind of thing, it really was. My very first talent show I did in middle school. And again, nobody knew I could sing. So this is my breakout star moment, as I always say, my debut moment. And I actually did a duet with my dad. My dad sings, and he's where I get the bug from. So we sang Am I Dreamin', which is a cover by Escape, originally performed by Atlantic Star. And I sang, no one knew I was nervous. Everyone came up to me after and was like, wow, you and your dad did such a great job. And I didn't agree. So for a long time, I would perform and I would feel like I could have done better. It just became this perfectionist kind of thing that I just felt like I wasn't doing good enough. And it honestly took years and years and years for me to get over that. But performing on stage in front of audiences of, whether they're your peers or you don't know them at all, it can be kind of daunting. So for me, I actually have a tactic that I started to use to get over my stage fright that I still use to this day, even though I don't have stage fright anymore. When I'm performing in a crowd, I tend to just look above them. I don't look at them. I don't look into their faces, because sometimes your mind plays tricks on you. Looking at people and you're telling yourself, oh, they're not enjoying this, then it's going to affect the rest of your performance. So I like to look above them. I find a spot on the wall. That way it doesn't seem like I'm closing my eyes and shutting them out, because that's something I used to do too. If I was really uncomfortable, I would definitely sing and just close my eyes. But that usually disconnects you from the audience, even if it connects you to the music. So finding a spot on the wall is what works best for me. Number 2, what genre of music does your style fall into? Not that we need any extra genres, but my music, it tends to jump around. So it can fall into R&B, it can fall into a style of R&B, but what I think I'm actually leaning more into is a brand new genre that may or may not already exist. To me, it doesn't. I call it trap and B. Trap with a little bit of blues. I'm definitely heavily inspired by blues. Aaliyah, blues and jazz performers. Aaliyah, Billie Holiday, B.B. King. But the style that I would like to lean more into is actually, for me, I call it trap and B, because you have more hip hop style songs or beats or instrumentals. And then you have me singing over them. You have me harmonizing over them and doing something that's traditionally more rhythm and blues based. I definitely do covers. I try to get away from doing covers because I don't want to be compared to other artists and I don't want to be stifled or put in a box. But I do think when you're someone who's been underground for as long as I have, if we do the math, so my first studio session was when I was 13. So I always count from when I was 13. I'm 33 years old now, turning 34 on the 11th of January. Get into it. But yeah, I count from the age of 13. So it's been 20 years. And when you have that much history and you have that much experience, you kind of figure out that it works how you want it to work. If I came in trying to follow standard rules, the industry is not a place with standard rules. So music industry is not a place with standard rules. I am very inspired by hip hop beats, especially more East Coast rap. Like I can get into anything, but East Coast rap is kind of home. My dad raised me on, East Coast rap. That's what we heard. When I started writing and when I wanted to branch out and get away from doing R&B and love songs, I would pull up old hip hop instrumentals. Flavor in Your Ear by Craig Mack. Pulled up that instrumental. I actually did a remix. I just fell in love with the way my voice sounds over something so unusual. You just wouldn't hear that. When you go into a studio session and you're speaking to a producer and they say, okay, listen to these beats that I have with you in mind. What they play is always something really soppy, really sad, or really lovey-dovey. So for me to come in over something as unrealistic as Cream, Dollar Bill, I loved it. I loved it so much. I love raw change. I love to kind of give that shock value just a little bit. So trap and B is actually where my heart is. It's something that I would like to break out into the industry doing. It's not something you really ever hear. And I do have songs, unreleased songs where I've rapped. You probably will never hear it because I'm just not, I'm not a confident rapper. I sound really good, but I don't want to fall into the category of people who started out singing and then all of a sudden they started rapping. Nothing wrong with it. These are just my personal preferences, but the art of lyricism is really what calls to me. So if the song all of a sudden feels like it needs me to start rapping, I may do a little something and just listen to it on a private track by myself. But it all exercises my pen game, and that's essentially what we want to do. When it comes to being a lyricist and writing your own lyrics, I just love to express myself through writing. I've always loved that. So when you get into creating a song and you get a chance to talk your ish, that's where I'm home, honey. I definitely want to release more music that's true to what I think I should be doing, but it may take some time because one thing I'm learning about the art of music business, you really don't want to confuse your audience. You don't want to come out with multiple genres. You don't want to jump in and out of genres. You kind of just want to stick to one. But again, when you are an independent artist or you're independent with your label, you call the shots. You get to make the decisions from one day to the next as to what you're going to do. And I don't really care what data says or what analysis says. Follow your heart, follow your creativity. I released my first album, Welcome to Moneytown, in 2023. And on my birthday, actually, January 11th, 2023. So pretty soon, in about 2 weeks, it'll be the anniversary. I'm celebrating my 34th birthday on January 11th. I released that album and I just wanted to give myself creative freedom. I wanted to just put whatever I wanted on the album, and that's what I did. My second album, I would really like it to be more jazz influenced, more blues based. I want there to be more more singing, just more focused on my singing ability and my ability to write about complex feelings. So that's what's going to be coming up next. Question number 3, our third and final question for today's video. What PRO do you use? We're going to get into some technicality here. You know, I'm a nerd, so I love talking about this kind of stuff. PROs are performing rights organizations. When you register to one, there are about 3, I think, main PROs that you can register with. They operate on your behalf in helping you to collect royalties whenever your music is performed. There's a lot of other steps that go along with copyright and registering your music and publishing. So we'll get into that probably on Moneytown University when I do set it up and I get some members. But just to touch on PROs, I am I'm registered with ASCAP, and basically whenever my music is played on the radio, either by accident or on purpose, I will be the one collecting those royalties. And that's something that I think I don't ever want to take for granted. You hear about building generational wealth and you learn that residual income or passive income is really one of the easiest ways to make generational wealth possible. To me, it just made sense to immediately take the steps to register and own the rights to my material, because passive and residual income can only happen if it's, you're collecting money from your work while you sleep, while you rest. If every time you have to make money, it means you have to get out of the bed to do it, that's going to be a pretty long life for you. There's nothing wrong with that, but that's not what I'm after. So I am registered with ASCAP, and I don't know how long I've been registered with them, but I have never been with anyone else. So I don't have any complaints, and I definitely, I could get into much more about publishing and what systems and businesses I use on Moneytown University. We are actually coming to the close of this video, you guys, and I would like to wrap it up by just discussing how important it is to educate yourself on the ins and outs of the business. I am still getting educated. I'm not going to pretend to know everything. And I do think, especially when you get into tax questions, you need to consult professionals. But as much as I learn, as much as I can share and educate others, I will always do it. It's really something I'm passionate about, especially when, you hear about people who were unfortunately taken advantage of because they just did not know any better. I think of if I were an artist who was actually able to get myself signed before I was able to educate myself on the things that I know now, I would have become like a lot of other people who, when you met a label owner or you sat with a label and they showed you a contract, you didn't sit with an attorney, you didn't consult your own attorney, they just promised you all of these advances and all of this beautiful stuff, and you said, okay, yeah, let's do it. And come to find out, they're shelving you. For those of you who don't know, to be shelved means that you will say, for example, you work really hard on an album. You create this album, your label listens to it when it's done, and they decide, you know what? We don't like it. We're not going to put it out. We're going to shelve it. When that happens, you basically put all of your work and all of your effort into this music that no one's going to hear. And then you're waiting for the label to give you the green light and release the album. So we talked about 360 deals in the last video. Put shelving and janky artist contracts on your list of things to learn more about. I would never do those things to an artist. I just think that sometimes you have to realize in the music industry, it's a business. So if you're working with the wrong people and they view you as an opportunity, that's how they'll treat you. That's how they'll treat your music. That's how they'll treat your art. And that unfortunately does affect a lot of mental health. You have people who don't want to perform in the industry anymore because they had a poor experience or they were signed to someone who was very predatory and had really bad ethical practices. As per usual, I'm going to send you on your way with this, a toast of water to educating ourselves and to following our dreams at the same time, because we can do both. YouTube University is real. You can almost look anything up on Google. If you want to go to school and educate yourself, by all means do that. I am sending your way that whatever dreams and aspirations you have, they will come to you just as effortlessly as it is for you to chase them. Cheers. And Ashe, like and subscribe, baby. Peace.
We're trying to run game over me. You feel like a horse and I swear I'm right at. But ain't nothing in this world free. Cause we got the juice, can you hear me now? We on the move, making moves, 5G all around. Look me up and down, ain't no frown, cause I combat it, just play my sound, now you'll